Welcome to True You, where we'll talk about becoming the truest version of who God created you to be. I'm your host and the co-author of Lies Young Women Believe and the Truth That Sets Them Free, Dannah Gresh. The average teen girl scores as high on anxiety tests as those admitted for inpatient treatment in the 1950s. And that's just one of a myriad of emotions you could be in bondage to. Do you suffer from negative feelings that just never go away? Chronic negative, overwhelming emotions could be evidence that you've believed a lie. And today, we'll help you learn the difference between a healthy emotion or one that's trying to warn you that something's really wrong.
Here at the round table of True You, no topic is off limits. I'm Staci Rudolph, lead teacher at True You, and today we are going to be tackling a big topic, chronic negative emotions. They could be a sign that you're believing a lie. Let's take a look at one girl's story of her battle with negative emotions.
Hey you guys, it's Alena Pitts here. I hope you're doing well. So one of the main emotions that I've struggled with for a lot of my life has been anxiety. Anxiety has always been this feeling of tightness in my chest, and then also just this constant fear and worry. And about 2 years ago, it hit its peak. I had a panic attack in the middle of school. And I didn't recognize it as that because it's embarrassing. I was like, why am I not breathing? But I soon came to realize through the loss of my appetite and a lot of other really hard things that I was believing a lie. And the lie I was believing was that God was not in control. And that lie took me down spirals of worry and anxiety and just constant fear. But I found freedom. I still deal with anxiety, but now I have freedom, and I always know God's in control. He's got me. And I promise if you feel these things as well, I promise you there's freedom for you too.
You may recognize that beautiful face. Alena Pitts is an actress and starred in the movie War Room. She's also an author of her own set of fiction books. Alena, you describe so perfectly that feeling, what you feel like when anxiety just grips you. Now, do you know what triggered that battle for you?
So I've always just had that tightness in my chest for as long as I can remember, and I kind of just learned to live with it. But about 2 years ago, my mom suddenly passed away within 2 hours, no warning. And that was the epitome of being out of control, which I've never been in control. God's always been in control. But I think I thought that I was in control. And so that was just the warning sign, hey, you're not in control at all.
So you had this emotion that was kind of always there, this chronic negative emotion, but then it got into full throttle.
Yeah.
When you faced actually something that you did need to have, it would be appropriate for you to have negative emotions about a loss that significant. But you didn't have really the right measure of that anxiety or grief. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So you knew something was wrong. It was like an alarm system, or what would you call it, Staci?
Well, I like to call it a check engine light, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It lets you know something is up and that you need to look deeper and see what it is. But I think a lot of times we let emotions rule us. So you want to be careful not to let your feelings dictate your life and guide what you're doing and everything, because you want to dive into God's word and find that truth that's actually more firm than your emotions.
Yeah, because emotions are a good tool. Let's break this down. Emotions are good. Genesis 1 says that everything God created is good. So he created our emotions. That means that even something like anxiety and stress could be a good tool. If you're doing too much and you feel that, that's the check engine light saying, slow down, girl, right?
Yeah.
But in your case, it had been so prevalent for so long and then had been triggered into something that admittedly you should feel some sadness and some grief. Horrific experience to lose your mom, who I know you were very close to. But you wanted to tackle it with truth.
Yeah.
You recognized that lie, I'm not in control. So what truth did God help you discover?
Well, first off, I'm human, so I think that I went through a lot before I turned to God's word, but eventually I did, probably when I was down on my knees, I don't have anything else to combat this. And the verse that I've clung to for a really long time is Isaiah 26:3, which just basically says, you keep him in perfect peace, whose eyes are set on you because he trusts in you. And I've learned that perfect peace on earth will not be perfect peace in heaven. Earthly perfect peace is more of I feel anxious, I'm not okay, but I'm trusting that God's got me.
Wow.
I like that she said that too. That's real, that you didn't initially go to God's word. We are human. We are gonna think we can handle it on our own or try to do everything we can, and sometimes we use God's word as like a last resort. But I like that you were honest about that. That's real.
But we want to challenge you to get to God's word, because that's where you're truly going to find the answer. Our key verse here at True You is John 8:31 and 32. Can I read that?
Yeah.
It says, Jesus said to the Jews who had believed in him, "If you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." You lived that out, Alena. You abided in God's word. When your emotions were out of whack, you abided in God's word. You discovered the truth you needed, and it set you free. I love that, and that's what we want you to experience too.
Yes. If you find yourself just struggling with constant negative emotions, let me give you the first step in overcoming them. You need to tell someone. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. I want you to stop and talk to someone. Find the wisest older woman you know in your life and just tell her like it is. I am drowning in depression. I'm constantly overwhelmed with stress and anxiety. And together, you guys can dig into God's word to find the truth, to replace those lies. And that'll help you be the truest you could ever be.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, we invite you to join us online for deeper discussion at liesyoungwomenbelieve.com. We'd also love for you to send us your 1-minute video freedom story. Get all the details on our website. Thanks for joining us today. Be the true you, because God created a masterpiece when he made you. Till next time.